Hi, I'm Mark Goldman, and today we're going to take a look at this 15-inch bandsaw from CWI Woodworking Technologies. I got this machine from Canadian Woodworker in Winnipeg. They've got stores throughout Western Canada. The shipping was quick and easy, and I'd like to go over this machine today. This is a really interesting machine. It's a 15-inch bandsaw as opposed to a 14 or 17, so it's a nice compromise between the two, and I particularly like the height and the footprint. What I like about the machine is it's so striking. This Stallion Bandsaw really stands out with its black and yellow and white colors. And there's some nice features. It's got a really nice cast iron table, easy to read gauges, easy to move parts, 2 horsepower, 220 motor, and it's got 2 dust ports. As always, safety is a major concern. This machine has several safety features which I quite like, beginning with the magnetic on-off switch, which is right here. But it also has 3 fail-safe mechanisms if for some reason a door is open or you're using the pedal. The 3 of them begin here on top with the first one. So if this door, for example, were open, it would trip that safety switch and would cut the power to the machine and stop it from turning. The same thing applies to another one over here, which is attached to the bottom door. So if the bottom door opens for some reason, that switch will release and it'll cut the power to the machine. The third safety switch is right here in the brake pedal. As soon as you apply pressure to the pedal, it cuts the power to the saw. And while we're on the brake pedal, it's interesting to note that in addition to being a safety feature, it's really quite handy if you're working on the saw and need to make an adjustment. You can press down on the brake pedal and it'll stop the saw moving, stop that blade moving instantly so you can make those adjustments. It's a very handy thing to have on a bandsaw. This is a 15-inch bandsaw, which means the wheels inside that hold the blade are 15 inches. And these are perfectly balanced 15-inch cast iron wheels that have a lot of momentum to them. Another feature I really like on this bandsaw is if you have to change a blade, it's quite easy. You loosen the tension and you just pull back this door here and that gives you full access to the blade and it slips right out. The Stallion Bandsaw comes with a cast iron table that's perfectly flat and polished with a slot here for a miter gauge. Another thing I like about it is the way you adjust the throat height. You just loosen this here and this goes up and down on this gear and it's driven up and you can see it very clearly in this magnifying area. Once you set it up, it's extremely accurate. One of the really good features on this Stallion Bandsaw is the manner in which the fence is constructed. It's made of aluminum and it sits on 2 rails and look how smooth that is. Really easy to use. And the adjustments are everywhere. I can adjust the way this fence sits on the table. I can move it up or down. I can adjust the balance or the level by these 2 rails on either side. It's really something that I think is very unique on this saw. The other thing about it is here on the side. You simply find the distance you want from the blade and of course lock it, and it doesn't move. It's really solid. The other thing that I like is it comes with a tape that you can put in here and you can accurately determine your distance without actually having to measure the blade to the fence. Once you set this up, it's going to be dead on. The Stallion Bandsaw comes with aluminum guide blocks on top and underneath, and what I really like is that it has ceramic inserts that'll prevent heating from the friction of the blade as it passes through. That's a really good feature. Also, as an option, there are ball bearing guide blocks available. Here's another thing I really like about the fence on this bandsaw. It's quite high, so it gives me a lot of support when I'm passing something through the blade. But what happens if I want to cut a shorter piece? I'm going to have a problem with the guide blocks as it hits this fence. Here's the solution. The simple solution on this bandsaw is it's a very adjustable fence. You just take it off from its current position, put it down horizontally, reconnect it to the fence, and you're all set to go. I'm going to look at a couple of adjustment areas now on this saw that I think are quite crucial. The first one is the adjustment to get the blade in the middle of the wheel. You loosen this and turn it back and forth, and then all you do is look in this window and see if the blade is centered properly on the wheel. Very smart invention. I think one of the really special features about this Stallion Bandsaw is the manner in which it deals with tensioning the blade. Now, most other bandsaws I've worked with, you have to actually look at the flex of the blade and measure the offset when you push against it to determine the right amount of tension. This one is really special. In the first place, to put the tension on the blade, you have a very large lever here, and you just move it up until it hits the flat position like that. that's probably the 10:30 or 11 o'clock position. What I like about that is it's perfectly visible. So when I'm coming to use the saw, I know if I have my tension on or off. All right, that's the first part of it. Look at the second part. All right, I've put the tension lever on the other side of the bandsaw. How do I know how much tension I have on the blade? It's a very unique system on this Stallion Bandsaw. I have an adjustment wheel right here, and by turning the wheel, I can increase or decrease the tension. How do I know how much tension? There's a gauge right here, a pneumatic gauge that tells me exactly how much tension. And there's a label below that gives me some guidelines. In this case, I need 20 kilograms per square centimeter. I just turn this dial until I can see the 20. And now I know I have the correct tension on this blade. Well, we've talked a lot about the Stallion Bandsaw. I'm going to make a cut now on this piece of cherry. I'm just going to take probably 1/8 of an inch off it to see how accurate the saw is. One of the things I'd like you to look at is when I turn the saw on, there's a row of LED lights here that will light up the work surface. A very handy feature to have. So I just sawed through this piece of cherry and have a 1/8 inch thick strip that seems to me to be absolutely the same thickness all the way through. So I'm very pleased with the way this saw has performed. So if you're looking to expand your shop, you can't go wrong with a bandsaw. I have friends who are professional woodworkers, and they say this is the most versatile machine in their shop, and they often go here first, even before the table saw or the radial arm saw. I like this 15-inch bandsaw because of its versatility and all of the safety features it has. The adjustments are a big plus. The one that I like the best, of course, is the tensioning of the blade. CWI Woodworking Technologies has made this Stallion Bandsaw. It's available from Canadian Woodworker in Winnipeg. I'm Mark Goldman. Thanks for watching.